Hi everybody, just want to make a very quick video here today. I just want to talk about the PIC report, the Preliminary Investigation Committee report 2023 from the VCI, which is the Veterinary Council of Ireland. Just want to make like a quick short video just to talk about, I mean a lot of it is just numbers and stats, but just to make a video on it, and it just kind of explains itself, I suppose, where everything is going in Ireland. So in 2023, there was 56 complaints made to the VCI, the Veterinary Council of Ireland. Complaints from the public were 85.7%. Complaints from the Veterinary Council were 8.9%. Complaints from a government or public body were 3.5%. Complaints from a registered person, 1.7%. And note there that most of the complaints are from the public at 85.7%. Categories of complaints. Dogs was 31, which comes in at the highest. Cats 9, equine 2, cattle 2, sheep 1, rabbit 1, non-animal related 6. So the highest number of complaints would be at dogs at 31, followed in then by cats at 9, which would be mostly again your pets, your domestic animals. Going on to categories then. Criminal conviction 1, failure to provide clinical notes 1, animal welfare 2, health of a registered person 2, pre-purchase examination 2, registration 2, prescribing practices 3, certification 5, communication 7, and the biggest one, the largest one, inadequate veterinary care and treatment comes in at 28, and that is the largest. So the rest are quite low numbers. Communication, I suppose, second to inadequate veterinary care and treatment, but that is the main complaint that is going into the VCI, Veterinary Council of Ireland. Complaints sent for oral hearing before the Fitness to Practice Committee. Public, inadequate veterinary care and treatment 3, pre-purchase examination 1, prescribing practices would be 1, then you have the Veterinary Council, you have certification 1, clinical convictions 1, medical unfitness 1, registration 1, government and public body certification 2, and then you have registered person, medical unfitness 1. So then underneath that they make their own observations, and I suppose what they do say about the largest complaints that go into the VCI for 2023 would be a veterinary practitioner's clinical judgment in diagnosing or treating an animal's condition. Number 1, we'll say. Number 2, death of an animal under anaesthetic or due to post-op complications. And number 3, euthanasia. Now, everybody knows who knows my story. If you don't know my story, please go back and just look to previous videos that I've made. One that's very close to my heart is euthanasia. Because we ourselves put in a complaint to the VCI in 2023 in regards to euthanasia of our beautiful German Shepherd Lexi. So this one very close to my heart. So just, I think the observations are important just to see what's popping out, what's really going into the VCI is the veterinary practitioner's clinical judgment in diagnosing or treating an animal's condition. So a lot of people aren't happy with this, and there seems to be a lot of adverse reactions in veterinary clinics coming out of this. Secondly, the death of an animal under anaesthetic or due to post-op complications. And we've had an awful lot of people coming to us with this one as well. This seems to be very high in the veterinary clinics in Ireland. And then number 3, euthanasia, which is a massive one as well. Now, they go on to say then in their observations, they speak about euthanasia. And they say primary purpose to relieve the suffering of animals. Veterinary must select the most appropriate and humane method of euthanasia. Now, this one, they go on to say then about the sedative. Sedative, the veterinary practitioner should consider. Now, note their wording, consider the use of a sedative. So, as you can see for that, they're using that wording because they're not committing themselves to saying that sedation is mandatory. Obviously in Ireland, when you euthanize an animal, sedation isn't mandatory, and that's very important to note. always, you know, read their wording and look at their wording. So just to go back to that again, when they say sedative under euthanasia, the veterinary practitioner should consider the use of a sedative. So I would highlight that word consider, because always note their wording. So that's telling you that if they don't use a sedative, and we know this is happening an awful lot, that what's their policy on it here? Well, their policy, it's not mandatory. It says they should consider. So that's a big one. And also they say methods of euthanasia to animal owners, that should be explained, and we know that that's not been explained in a lot of cases. And then the consent obtained and documented, another big one. So just looking at it, like, what can we see? There was 56 complaints. There was a 55% increase in complaints in 2023 from 2022. But only 7 out of the 56, only 7 went to the Fitness to Practice Committee. So that's very low. And if you go and look at the inadequate care and treatment, which was the highest complaints, which there was 28, that 83% of them, they didn't even make it any further. So I think the numbers, you know, they speak for themselves. What's happening is with the VCI is the Irish people have lost confidence in the VCI. And because even to say for 2023 that the complaints were 56, like, I'd argue with that, because I mean, I know from people contacting me all the time that the number of adverse reactions that people are having in veterinary clinics is way higher, way higher than 56. But these are people that actually will say go forward then and put a complaint into the VCI. A lot of people, they're not putting complaints into the VCI because they've lost faith and they've lost confidence in the VCI. And could you blame them? Absolutely not. You couldn't blame them. Like, we went to the VCI, we thought we were doing the right thing. And I know a lot of other people who would have gone to the VCI and thought they were doing the right thing, only to find out that they're going to do nothing for you because it's vets investigating vets. And how is that fair? How is that just? It's not. And they'll argue, oh, we have some people on the committee and they're not vets. But mostly they are vets, and it's vets investigating vets, and it's biased. And the pet owners, they don't stand a chance at justice. Absolutely no chance. So, and just going back there, looking at a 55% increase. And as I said, I would argue with that 56 complaints, it should be a lot higher. But just looking at the stats, looking at the numbers, is that the prosecution rate is very, very low. And this is very discouraging to people, because when you think of it, like, there was 28, say, complaints about veterinary care and it was inadequate. And only, that was, we'll say, the largest complaint underneath all the complaints. And then the prosecution rate just being so low, it's very discouraging then for people to report these incidents to the VCI, because they just feel like it's not worth their while. And we have to remember too, when people do go through these adverse experiences, it's very hard on people, particularly emotionally and psychologically. If you know, your beautiful pet, be it your cat, your dog, whatever, and they've had a very adverse experience in a veterinary clinic, you know, sometimes it's the last thing a family want to do is just go through all that red tape, and it is all red tape and bureaucracy and paperwork, trying to get justice in a system where the stats are speaking for themselves. Like, your chances of getting justice are little to none. And a lot of people, they just do not have that energy to go through that, because they're mourning the loss of a pet, or they have been so psychologically damaged from even injuries that are happening to pets. They just don't have the energy to do that, and I can understand that. But just in talking about all that today, I just want to go back again, and I've spoken about this several times, this book here. And it's the Veterinary Council of Ireland Code of Professional Conduct for Veterinary Practitioners. Now again, I'm asking the general public, if you want to get a copy of this, just you can write to the VCI, the Veterinary Council of Ireland, and ask them to send you a copy of this. Now, I just gone back into euthanasia. It's on page 25 here, euthanasia again. And I just want to read out what they say. Okay, this is their book. These are their guidelines and their protocols, and we know they are not following them. It says here, euthanasia, purpose. Euthanasia is the act of purposely inducing the death of an animal using humane methods, and that should be underlined, humane methods that eliminate or minimise pain and distress. And we know this isn't happening either. That a lot of animals, especially the animals that are being euthanised inhumanely, they have to go into severe distress, stress, pain, suffering and torture before they die. I mean, this is Ireland, this is what's happening here. Its primary purpose is to relieve suffering. So, I mean, as I said in the previous videos, like, this is all great and this all sounds great if they're following their own rules and their own protocol. But they're not following their own rules and their own protocol, which you can see by Lexi's case, our case, April the 18th, 2023, when our beautiful German Shepherd Lexi was euthanised by heart-stick euthanasia, also known as intracardiac euthanasia, fully conscious. She got a horrific, barbaric, torturous death, and it was witnessed by myself, my husband and our 4 children, and I will never in my life get over it. It was absolutely horrific. And I just want to say, this is their protocol. You can see it in their book, page 25, euthanasia, and they're not following any of it. Now, another story came to my attention that I just want to mention today. And this story is a story that's coming from Cork. By a guy called Declan Kiley. And I'm just going to ask everyone, Declan's story has gone viral about his beautiful dog Millie, and I'm just asking people, please, please, please support Declan in any way you can. And when these videos go out to people, like, there's people out there that you might be in a position to help Declan in whatever way you can, because what he's going through is horrendous, and the reason I'm sharing his story is it is horrendous, it's horrific, and I can totally associate with what Declan's gone through and going through, because we've been through it as well. So I'm just going to read here his post, which is gone viral. And I'm just going to state as well that I can't name the veterinary clinic for, I suppose, legal reasons, because they will come after me. And I have enough people coming after me for speaking up about Lexi. So I just want to read this. And I'll just carry on from here now. And this is from Declan Kiley. I want everyone to know what they did to my Millie and countless other beloved pets. Millie screamed in terror and immense pain after she woke up during a procedure to put her to sleep and pass away peacefully in the comfort of her own bed at home. She looked at me with her big, beautiful, sweet eyes as if to say, please help me, and tried to crawl up to me to protect her while she suffered unbearable pain. I protected and loved her for 15 years. And in her last moments, I feel I let her down, and her last image while she was in pain was me. It kills me every day. I couldn't say anything all along, as there was an inquiry after I reported it to the Veterinary Council of Ireland. And of course they did absolutely nothing after all that, and said even though they agreed that the vet should have taken certain steps like sedate Millie first or have a vet nurse to assist, they are doing nothing. I will absolutely not stop until the vet in question are held accountable for what they did. The trauma Millie suffered in her last breaths and the trauma I still suffer to this day is not okay, and they will not get away with it. The report is lengthy and tough to read, but if people don't speak up to these horrible excuses for humans, they will continue to be careless and unprofessional. I will put the report up soon, and I'd like people to please share this post and let everyone know what they did. Millie did not deserve to die the way she did. She was so sweet and so pure. A little lady, I miss her all day, every day. Just a very, very horrific and very, very sad story, and I just want to offer my condolences to Declan and to all his family on the loss of Millie, and I 100% support him and I'm behind him in getting justice for Millie. And I just think, like, here we go, this is another story, another family suffering, and these are just the cases of the people that come forward and come public. A lot of people, as I said, they don't, because they're going through so much pain, suffering and the trauma as well. So please people, help. Declan's story's gone viral. Please help Declan in any way you can. It's on social media. You can find Declan Kiley on Facebook and just follow his story and get behind him and support him, as I said, in any way you can. This is another story out of Ireland, 2023, of Inhumane euthanasia. It's just very sad. It's very sad, you know, that this is still happening. And, you know, I have never made YouTube videos before. I just started coming out after what happened to Lexi, and it's just been some journey, to be honest with you. And when you do come out and speak out, and I've spoken about this before, it's not easy. It is very hard, and you will be persecuted because the powers that be, they don't want us speaking out. So when you do speak out, people are going to come at you in all ways, shapes and forms. They will try and defame you. They will try to take your character. They will do a lot of projection because you're speaking out about something. They don't want this coming out to the public, so they have to make you look bad. And they will do anything in any means, shape and form to make you look bad. So that's why it's very important when people do speak out to rally behind them and to support them, because they need that support. What I think is wrong is I think we have a lot of corruption in Ireland. It goes from the top right down, and it's a massive problem. And it's only when you expose any form of corruption that you can, it's like a can of worms. It just opens up and there's no stopping it. And, you know, they don't want a lot of this truth coming out, you know, and they have to make people like us look bad. They have to take our characters, they have to defame us, they have to try and silence us, they will bully us, they will try and intimidate us to keep quiet. But I'm not going to keep quiet because I haven't done anything wrong. I'm trying to speak up against inhumane euthanasia in Ireland, and I'm going to continue to do so because the last time I checked, we're living in a democracy, and I know people will laugh at that, that's very debatable. I firmly believe in free speech, and I believe that people should be able to speak up and speak out. And if a person has an adverse reaction in a vet's, they're entitled to speak up and speak out about it. You know, it's not a one-way street where we just talk about all the good things and we just put vets up on pedestals and we can't speak out about them. That's wrong. Of course we can speak out. We're not here to beat down the vets. I've animals, I still need a vet, and so does everyone up and down the country. We need vets. We just want to speak up about the wrongdoings in the veterinary practice, I suppose, the things that are not morally or ethically right that are happening in vets. This is what we want to speak up about. There are good vets, and Pete the vet done a good write-up about euthanasia, and I just want to say fair play to him. And there is good vets up and down the country in Ireland, and I think it's very sad for the good vets up and down the country that you have other vets that are behaving not morally or ethically right, and they're dragging down the name of the veterinary industry in Ireland. I also think the VCI have a lot to answer for, because when these cases are coming up to the VCI, they are not behaving responsible at all. They are more protecting the vets instead of disciplining the vets. And if they discipline the vets, the standard of veterinary care in Ireland would improve. But that's not happening. Like, we're not here to bash the vets, and that's very important to put that across. We're not. As I said, we need vets, and there are very good vets up there, and there are vets that are euthanizing animals humanely. We're on about the vets that are not, and it's very important to make that distinction, because every animal at the end of their life, they deserve a good, peaceful death, and they deserve no pain and no distress. And it's in their own book, the Veterinary Council of Ireland, right? It's in their own book, and they need to practice what they preach. They need to enforce their own protocol and their own rules. That's what they need to do, and that's all we're asking. As I say, it's not bash the vet. No, I don't agree with that. We're not doing that at all. But we need change in this country. We don't want any more animals being euthanized inhumanely. We don't want any more families going through what we're going through. Like, it'll be 2 years for us, April the 18th, and it's so raw for us still, and there's been immense pain for us and suffering, a lot of psychological trauma, just, it's immense, and I don't even want to get into it too much, but it's not acceptable and it's not good enough. And now we have this other poor man down in Cork, Declan Kiley, with his beautiful dog Millie, and he's going through the same. It's not good enough. You know, we can do better as a country, and we should be doing better as a country. And I'm just going to say as well, it's up to the people for change as well. I have no faith in any of the politicians bringing any change for humane euthanasia in this country. Absolutely none. We can only go back to the case there in Kildare of the horses as well. And what's been done about that, it's just horrific. And I have no faith in the Minister for Agriculture. I have zero faith. And I have absolutely no faith in the Veterinary Council of Ireland as well. Because they're doing nothing. 2023, 2 cases in Ireland, okay, that are gone public. Our case, Lexi, beautiful German Shepherd. Now we've got Declan, Kylie's case with a beautiful dog, Millie. And both euthanasia. And nothing being done. Both euthanised inhumanely in this country and nothing being done. It's not good enough. I am asking anyone else out there to speak up. If you had your animal, be it a dog or a cat, and it was euthanised inhumanely, please, please speak up. The public need to know, and the pressure needs to be put on, because we want change in this country now. We want change in Ireland, because we all still have animals, and you know, there's going to come the day that they might need to be euthanised, and we want it to be humanely, and that's all we're asking. I mean, it's not much. It really isn't much. And I think the Veterinary Council of Ireland should be ashamed of themselves, absolutely ashamed of themselves, that they're not enforcing their own protocol and their own guidelines to euthanasia, and that people up and down the country are suffering and animals are suffering. And there will be more cases, there will be more animals, and there will be more people suffering because nothing's been done about it. So we need change. And I'm asking the people, how can you help? Well, if there's petitions, sign them, share them. This video, I'm not just trying to make this clear as well. I'm not trying to become famous. YouTube, it's not even my thing to be up in front of a camera. Okay, I have other things to be doing. But Lexi was family. She was our family. And I can't get over what happened to Lexi. And it's my job to speak out and try and get justice for Lexi and all the other animals as well. And this needs to go out to the public so that we can bring in change. But the videos, they have to be liked and shared as well. And I'm just going to say that as well with Declan's story as well. Please share it. He asks as well people to share it. Please share it, like and comment. Again, for the algorithms. But that's the only way that we can get these stories out there. And you know, as I said, it takes a lot of courage to come out and go public, but we need people, animal lovers, to get behind us, support us, and just help spread the word, because we want to bring change into Ireland. We want animals in veterinary clinics, and not just veterinary clinics, anywhere, wherever they're being euthanised, be it in abattoirs, anywhere. We want them to be euthanised humanely, and I don't think that's too much to ask in Ireland in the year 2024. So please, people, like the video, subscribe, share, get the word out, and people are the power, and it's up to the people. As I said, I've no faith in any politicians, any Minister for Agriculture, or the VCI, the Veterinary Council of Ireland. The only people that can change now is the everyday ordinary people. We are the only ones that can bring in the change, because all these government bodies, sadly and very sadly, they're corrupt to the core. And they won't like me saying that, but it is true. They are corrupt to the core. They don't represent the everyday people. Because if they did, why is this still happening? Why is there inhumane euthanasia happening up and down the country in Ireland? And I would just want to go back to the Clare Pounds as well, of all the greyhounds there, and they were all euthanised as well by heartstick euthanasia, fully conscious, and they got horrific, distressing, painful, torturous, barbaric deaths. And that was brought before the Dáil by Maureen O'Sullivan, the TD back then, and Simon Coveney said that it was no longer happening. And here we are, we're in the year 2024 now, but we're going back to cases that went to the VCI in 2023. It's still happening up and down the country. And I would say it's a lot more widespread than what we know even. These are only the cases that we know. You know, again, I go back to our case and I go back to Declan's case. We came out publicly, but there's so many people who haven't come out publicly. And just to say and to think that this just happened in the Clare Pounds, I'm sure it was happening in the Pounds up and down the country, and could still be happening in the Pounds up and down the country. So it's very important to get these videos out to the public. So please, as I said before, I don't want to keep repeating myself, I'll be sounding like a parrot. like, subscribe and share. That's it for today. Look, I feel very strongly about euthanasia, as I said, because it's very close to my heart. So I'm just asking people, please, please be the change. Get proactive. Anyway, you know, don't just sit behind a computer or phone or just, you know, as they say, bitch amongst yourselves, because that doesn't do anything. Just, if people are speaking out, get behind them, encourage them, support them, and share their work, share their stories, and that's all we can keep doing. And I hope someday I can come on here and make a video and say that euthanasia for animals in Ireland has changed and it's now more humane. I hope someday I can do that. And the only way we can do that is by the people. As I said, it's up to us now. And I'm only one person. I can only do what I can do. But we need people to get behind us as well. Please just, you know, share the content, get the word out there. And I think if enough noise was made, we would get change. But it's down to the people at the end of the day, okay? So thanks very much for watching. See you in the next one. Thanks a million. Bye-bye.